I am Dr. P S Vali, Senior Consultant Nephrologist at Asian Institute of Nephrology and Urology, Dilshuk Nagar, Hyderabad. I am so glad to meet all of you on this platform. Today I will be talking about do's and don'ts of dialysis. First of all, what do you mean by dialysis? Dialysis is a strategy, it's a procedure wherein a machine will be replacing the functions of a kidney. It's a seamless and a dependable, sophisticated technology. You can also call it as almost like an artificial kidney. But there are few do's and don'ts which every patient who is undergoing dialysis need to understand and follow meticulously. So in this session, I am going to talk about those do's and don'ts which every patient of dialysis should understand. First of all, let us talk about the do's. The first and foremost do is never ever try to skip your dialysis sessions. Because even if you skip one session of dialysis, the bad effects of skipping a dialysis will be there at least for a period of 1 month or so. Therefore, even if you got some work, you try to discuss with your nephrologist and technical team regarding what would be the next alternative best day of dialysis for you. But never skip the dialysis. Try to stick onto the schedule which has been allotted to you by your nephrologist. Why? Because our kidneys function 24 hours. All our kidneys function without any gap for 24 hours. At least if at all you are not regaining or replacing our lost kidney functions by the amount of at least 8 to 12 hours per week, then we'll land up in problems. Therefore, always respect your dialysis schedules, and we need to realize that a proper dialysis, a good quality dialysis, an uninterrupted dialysis can make it not initiated for a person of CKD. We need to restrict our protein intake. Once dialysis has been started, then protein intake has to be amplified. This is very important so as to sustain the load of dialysis. Every dialysis session is going to drag the proteins out in a smaller quantity. To replace these proteins and then to maintain a proper and decent muscle balance, dialysis patient should consume good amount of protein. In technical words, every dialysis patient, after getting permission from their nephrologist, should be able to 1.2 grams of protein per day. In like this, if your nephrologist permits, you try to take at least 3 egg whites per day. We are recommending egg white because egg white is the best form of protein available on earth. It is known as the protein with best biological properties. That means the high quality protein. If you happen to be vegetarian, we respect it. In place of egg, rather you can take tofu or paneer every day. So maintaining good proper protein intake is mandatory for any dialysis patient. Regarding this, without any inhibitions, discuss with your nephrologist. The third most important reason which every patient of dialysis should follow is check your hemoglobin once in a month. You make sure that your hemoglobin is not too low, not too high. Unlike the normal population, dialysis person should not have higher hemoglobin. That means hemoglobin should never be more than 13. At the same time, to have good quality of life, hemoglobin should be more than 10. So try to maintain your hemoglobin around a sweet spot. The sweet spot is somewhere around 10.5 to 11.5. Last year, the hemoglobin is crossing 12, and you abandon your blood-enhancing medications in the form of erythropoietin once hemoglobin crosses 13. Therefore, make sure that your hemoglobin is in a safer range, not too low, not too high. You need to maintain it somewhere around 10.5 to 11.5, which is known as a sweet range and safe range. The next important do, which every patient of dialysis to follow, is maintain your medication chart properly. You take medications at appropriate timing. There are some medications which need to be taken on empty stomach. There are some medications which need to be taken after food. There are some medications such as phosphate binders which need to be taken along with food. Therefore, discuss with your nephrologist regarding the proper timing of your medication and try to take all the medications at the same time every day so that body don't get confused. And more importantly, you try to maintain the blood pressure in a safer range, in an optimum range by taking the medications at appropriate time. The next important do for a person who is on dialysis is always feel motivated. You are not alone in this fight. You are a fighter and you will be a fighter, and the destiny will be 100% helping you. So always feel motivated, be courageous, be energetic, the entire universe is going to help you out. Just have faith in your treatment. Just have faith in the ongoing journey. And try to go for transplantation as early as possible by discussing with your nephrologist. This is regarding the do's. Now let us discuss about don'ts. The first and foremost don't, which every patient of dialysis should understand, is you should not consume potassium-rich diet. As you might be knowing by this time, there are some foods which are rich in potassium. The most important food materials which are rich in potassium are fruits and green leafy vegetables. Therefore, dialysis patients should not consume liberal amounts of fruits. The safest fruits which are less in potassium content are apple, papaya, pear, and then guava. These things can be consumed in less quantity. If at all you want to consume any of your fruit of choice, then try to consume it on the day of dialysis. That too with the help of your nutritionist and also a nephrologist. If at all you have a craving for something, some food, we can understand. We are all human beings. We do have craving for food. But discuss with that fact with nutritionist, with dietitian, with nephrologist, and try to come up with a practical plan so that you will be able to consume it in moderate quantities, at the same time not having an impact on your kidneys. Therefore, a dialysis patient should consume less amount of potassium-rich diet. Therefore, the potassium-rich diet such as fruits and green leafy vegetables has to be restricted. The safest fruits which contain liberal amounts of potassium are apple, papaya, guava, pear, and jam. The second important don't, what patients on dialysis should realize and follow is, they should not consume excess amount of salt. 1 pinch of salt contains 1 gram on a rougher side. A patient on dialysis should not consume not more than 4 to 5 grams per day. That indicates that a patient on dialysis should not consume more than 4 to 5 pinches of salt. If at all you allow me to speak more technically, then I suggest you to choose a teaspoon. You take only a full teaspoon of salt. That means a teaspoon, make the teaspoon flat with your salt. That is the amount of salt which you need to consume for 24 hours. If at all you have a craving for salt, there are some tips. First and foremost tip is, you can take black pepper. Black pepper serves as a good alternative for salt, which our tongue presumes as salt, but it is not having the bad qualities of a salt. Therefore, if at all you have unusual craving for salt, you can try consuming onions sprinkled with a bit of black pepper while having meals. The second tip for overcoming the salt craving is, you can go for a bit of less salt pudina chutney. Pudina or any herb will act like a salt substitute. That means they try to deceive our brain that we are consuming the salt, even though they don't lack the bad qualities of salt. Therefore, these are the 2 important don'ts which I want to stress upon. I want to once again reaffirm you all, we are all committed for your welfare and for bringing a change in your quality of life. Being on dialysis does not mean that we are on the bad side. Being on dialysis means that we are courageous. And for every dialysis patient, we try to encourage you to go for transplant at the earliest, because it will give you a good quality of life. Regarding the other do's and don'ts, you can discuss with your nephrologist, and we all wish you a very good quality of life and good journey ahead.